Hello, Sylvie.
Hi, François.
In this video, Sylvie and I will talk about some of the institutions that animated the cultural life of the citizens of Terrebonne Heights. Let's start with the Mugford's beach. It was a beautiful artificial lake surrounded with a very soft sand. It was created by a man named Pop Mugford. He and his son worked hard to clean up the square on Poplar Street. There were a lot of people who spent their summer here in Terrebonne Heights. In addition to this artificial lake, there were also other well-maintained ones like Jimmy's Beach.
At the time, locals used the fire cut trail with their horses to go to swim at Mugford's Beach. The fire cut trail was a pathway that has been dug for the bushfire in 1949 in Terrebonne. Melvin Sullivan, president of the Mascouche Community Club, also helped a lot to gather the necessary help to fight this fire. He made a request to the commanding officer of the Canadian Armed Forces for the assistance of the military in combating the fire. Without the help of the military, the Heights were in great danger of total destruction.
Pop Mugford had a friend named Archer Brooke. In 1930, Mr. Brooks opened the first general store with a dance hall known as Brooks Hall on the corner of English Road and Station Street. In the 1950s, the place gave way to the popular restaurant Rosty's. The Boars was also another well-known dance hall.
In those years, it was the golden age of Terrebonne Heights. During the good season, the population was increasing by 50%, and the Mascouche Community Hall, which had started as Kerwood Hall, was very popular. There were lots of activities available there. Just a little further, there was a drag race track of an eighth of a mile called La Piste d'Accélération du Québec, or the Quebec Acceleration Track. Today, it's Raymond Boulevard.
The citizens of Terrebonne Heights had fun but also went to church. St. Margaret's Church served the Anglicans. As for the Catholic parish Our Lady of the Holy Rosary, it was founded in 1950 by Father Albéric Lalande. On the first parish tours, there were only 27 families attending. But let me tell you an anecdote that happened during the first Mass given by Father Lalande. First of all, you should know that the Theberge and McCune families have been at the origin of the concerted efforts of several citizens to obtain English language religious services in Terrebonne Heights. Mr. McCune and Theberge were neighbors and brothers-in-law and were married to the Davidson sisters. After saying Mass a few times at the McCune's house, an army tent from a regiment was used.
It was in this tent that Robert McCune, a servant of Mass, backed off into a lit candle and set fire to his trousers bottom. Apparently, he called the Lord for help in not a so pious way. Mrs. Theberge went to his rescue and dispelled hell out of the flame and the boy with the help of her large handbag by hitting several times on the spot and fire. Meanwhile, at the altar, Father Lalande continued the Mass with all the solemnity required by the holy sacrifice.
Remember that there is a very special social characteristic in Terrebonne Heights. The majority of the first families to come and settle there in the 1920s were soldiers of the First World War. As for their children, they have fought in the Second World War. So the military identity is much more pronounced than what can be found in the Francophone community. The source of community life in the neighborhood will therefore revolve around the Mascouche Community Club and the Royal Canadian Legion.
The Mascouche Community Club is constituted in 1944 and was located in a park on Poplar Street. It's in this hall that it is held in September 1945, a big party celebrating the return of the soldiers of the Second World War. On the ground of the Mascouche Community Club during Field Day as part of Labor Day weekend, the citizens of Terrebonne Heights rode their bikes for a special race, where the one who drove the slowest without falling was declared the winner. It was also the time for Henri l'Espérance to come and deliver his fruits and vegetables, and for the butcher Henri Aubin to sell his meat to the women of the English-speaking community. The association will be very active for the community during the 1940s and 1950s. During this period, it will be at the origin of the creation of a branch of the Canadian Legion, a Protestant school, and a fire service.
If culture creates social connections and participates in the development of identity, we can certainly say that the citizens of Terrebonne Heights had a unique identity and culture specific to the neighborhood. What is certain is that all these Terrebonne Heights institutions participated in the development of a strong sense of belonging and pride.
Well said, François.